Did you buy the jump scare precon, but Zimone is just too focused on the green, too many land side of Simic?
Yeah, we don't like ramp either. We like the blue side of Simic. We like drawing cards. Well, lucky for you, Kianne is the perfect alt commander for that, and we did the research for you. Don't worry. We recommend you add these 20 budget cards.
And we even did the work on what cards you're gonna have to take out as well, which is these 20.
And if you don't want to watch the rest of the video, that's totally fine. Click the Moxfield link below. It has all of these cards there for you.
Easy peasy in a list.
Kianne Corrupted Memory is one of the sneakiest Voltron commanders I have ever seen. The top text I feel like is just kind of a magician's hat, like is misdirection. Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on it is absurd.
Yeah, she can get huge fast. And with the cards we're adding, we can manipulate whether we're casting creatures or non-creature spells at flash speed all the time.
And before we get to those cuts, you know we have to make some land changes first. We can safely cut these 4 tap lands, especially Terramorphic and Evolving Wilds. We're no longer doing a landfall thing with Zimone, so those are safe cuts, and Drown Your Temple doesn't really do anything for our game plan.
We should be playing instead is Okina, Temple to the Grandfathers. This is a really cool way to manipulate whether you can cast creatures or non-creatures to catch people off guard. Opal Palace, you're going to be recasting Kianne, I'm sure, so this can help you get a jump start on her power. Roadside Reliquary can help you draw 2 cards late in the game when you need to cash in. Tangled Florahedron, if you draw it early, can help you ramp to Kianne, but if you draw it late game, can just be a tap land. And then as we said in the Valgavoth video, any deck where you're drawing a lot of cards, you want to have MDFCs because your lands become dead weight.
Now that we got that out of the way, here are the 20 cards you want to cut. Our first 5 cuts are Temur War Shaman, Karoo Spell Snatcher, Death Mist Raptor, Trail of Mystery, and Scroll of Fate. Simply, all of these have to do with face down synergy, and we don't do that anymore.
Our next 5 are the specific landfall synergy cards. Myriad Landscape, Growth Spiral, Retreat to Coralheim, Greater Tanuki, and Beanstalk Giant. These are cool cards with Zimone, but they just don't really fit into Kianne's game plan.
Next batch of cuts will be Worldspine Worm, Shriekwood Devourer, Giggling Skitterspike, Arixmethes Slumbering Isle, and Scab Ruinator. These are all big boys that are meant to be flipped over, and we're no longer doing that.
The next 4 cards we're cutting are Sentinel Hierophants, Yavimaya Elder, Cackling Counterpart, and Biomass Mutation. These cards just have really specific applications, and they're just so far from what we're doing.
AKA they're bad.
And finally, Shigeki Jukai Visionary, who's a really cool recursion spell, but it just costs a little too much mana for what we're trying to do in this deck. And now that you know what we're not playing and why, let's get into the 20 cards that are going to make Kianne a killer.
Our first ad will be Geyser Drake. We are drawing so many cards, we're casting everything at instant speed. It is so vital that we have something to reduce the cost of everything in our hand.
Our next card is Give and Take, but in this deck it might as well just be Take and Take.
That caught me off guard.
I just thought of it right now. When we remove all the 1/1 counters from Kianne and then draw that many cards, she's going to put all those counters right back on her. This is free value.
Our third and fourth ads are Glade Muse and Wavebreak Hippocamp. We're going to be casting spells on everyone else's turn, so why not switch up the mode of our Kianne grower all at the same time?
Our 5th and 6th ads are Zagana Utopian Speaker and Herald of Secret Streams. Kianne is going to be huge, so giving her trample or unblockable with these cards is going to be essential to getting that damage through to our opponents.
Our 7th ad is Victory Chimes. Why not have a mana rock on everyone's turn?
Our 8th ad is Spark Double. This is a generically great card, but the cool interaction it has with Kianne is that if her power is even when you cast Spark Double, he'll grant all of your spells flash because he'll always be odd while Kianne's even and vice versa.
Our 9th ad is Stocking the Pantry, a cheeky 1 mana enchantment that acts as our mana sink. For as long as you have Kianne in this card, this says pay 2 and draw a card as many times as you want because it feeds positively with Kianne.
Our 10th ad is Chasm Skulker, a staple in any heavy card draw deck.
Our 11th ad is very similar to Chasm Skulker, Thought Vessel. If you're drawing a ton of cards, simple addition.
And most importantly, it is a 2 mana ramp spell with a 4 mana commander, so it is ramping us exactly 1 turn to our commander sooner. Our 12th ad is Hardened Scales. This should come as no surprise to anyone who's familiar with 1/1 counter decks. For just 1 green mana, this is our win con ASAP.
Our 13th card is Kenrith's Transformation. This card is already a brutal removal spell at sorcery speed. At instant speed, way better.
Our 14th ad is Arcane Laboratory. This card prevents anyone from playing more than 1 spell on their turn. But when we're playing everything at flash speed, we're playing 4 cards per turn cycle and getting way ahead of everyone else.
Our 15th card is Winged Boots. We want to ideally protect Kianne as much as possible and give her evasion on top of it.
Our 16th and 17th ads are Rishkar's Expertise and Windfall. These cards are super efficient ways to draw a bunch of cards all at once. which, with Kianne, can happen at instant speed and potentially even swing us for lethal when it wouldn't have been.
Our 18th ad is Wave Goodbye. We're huge advocates of creature removal, even if that is just back to their hands, and this opens up the battlefield for you to swing in with Kianne for the win.
Our 19th ad is Ripples of Potential. For 2 mana, this is going to phase out most of our valuable creatures, definitely including Kianne, and phasing out is one of the best ways to dodge board wipes because it gets around Exile, it gets around Cyclonic Rift, and it makes sure that we're the only ones to keep stuff instead of fully countering the spell.
Our last and final budget ad is Awakening. This is Seedborn Muse's cousin. Enchantments are hard to get rid of, and our entire game plan is casting things at instant speed, and we want to be doing that as many times as possible.
And we're primed to take the most advantage of this, given how many cards we're drawing. That's it. If you're still watching, I mean, you probably clicked the Moxfield link a while ago.
Like and subscribe!